Lori Hall. Thanks so much for sharing. Hi, Kathy. While we're waiting for others to jump on, I just want to share some of the happy mail I received recently. This is a gorgeous card by Lori Hall. She frequently sends me cards and they're always absolutely gorgeous. This is with the Wonderful World Designer Series paper that's part of the celebration promotion. This one is from Lynn Kim. And this is a card that we made in one of my classes way back in the day. So that was fun. This is from Ann Rolfus. Everybody remember the hydrangea suite? Everybody loved that, didn't they? Okay, this one is from Susan Harper. It's a gatefold card, but then she has this set so that it held, can you see how it was put together with a dimensional strip right down the center? But she used this as the closure for her card. Now, let's see if I can get this back in. She used this as the closure for her card. But then, and I think this is the way she intended it, it's removable. And I figured this makes a great bookmark. And I actually need a bookmark. I always just leave my book facing open and flip it upside down. So I'm going to put that in the book I'm reading right now, which is The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. If you haven't read it, it's really good. My niece gave it to me. And about the second chapter into it, I realized I had already read it many years ago, but it's good. So I'm reading it a second time and nearing the end of it. This one is from Jenny Graber. And this last one is also from Lori Hall. I think I might have had this one for a week or two. But anyways, that's my happy mail that I've received. I love getting happy mail as much as you do. So keep it coming. Or if you have an extra card around when you're sending your happy mail to other people, I always enjoy getting that. Tomorrow, August 23rd, is the last day of the to order my Bewitching class to go. All the information has been sent out in newsletters by email. And you can also find it on my blog, stampinpeace.com. And yesterday, I released another class to go. And this one features the Regal Reindeer Bundle. Regal Reindeer Bundle. It's a stamp set with a coordinating die set. Really nice for the holiday season, but also you could switch out sentiments and make some fun masculine cards or cards for nature lovers. This is a good example of that. Here's another. Look how cute. I love this little girl stamp in there. And then here's the last one. So information for that can also be found on stampinpeace.com. It's also gone out in an email newsletter yesterday. And if you're not on my email list or are not familiar with my blog, for both of those things, go to stampinpeace.com and you can subscribe to one or both of those things. Especially the blog is sort of my catch-all for everything that I do in my business. All of my Facebook Live video replays go there with more detailed information, cutting instructions, Stampin' Up! Products used, etc. I always promote my classes to go as well as Stampin' Up! Promotions there. So stampinpeace.com is kind of the catch-all for everything. But if you would like to receive those posts and or my email newsletter, you can subscribe to both of those right there on that site, stampinpeace.com. Okay, today I'm really excited about the cards we're going to make. we're using a brand new to me die set, and this one is called Pretty Pop-Ups, and it's a very different kind of set, die set than we've ever had before. So I'm excited to show it to you today and look at some of the various ways that we can use it. So I'm going to flip my camera around now. While I'm doing that, please share this live video. You know, the more the merrier, the more people we can get watching and sharing creative inspiration with, the better. Okay, I hope you have shared this live video now. And gotta find my glasses. The first thing I'm going to do is use my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the large one, to show you exactly what these different dies do. And I'm just going to take one sheet, let me see, where is it here? One sheet of cardstock, and I'm going to cut out all of these just so you can see how they work. And I will tell you, if you look at these dies, they are somewhat directional in that, do you necessarily want your dragonfly and your butterflies flying downward? Probably not, so pay attention to that. I made that mistake of not looking the first time I used these dies. Let me do it like this. So we've got 3 fairly large dies, and then we've got these 7 small ones. There are these different flowers, and then there are butterflies in 2 sizes, and then there's a dragonfly. By the way, if you're wondering where I get my magnetic sheets from, those come from Stampin Storage. You can buy them online, STAMP-N-STORJE. And they do come in a variety of sizes. Oops, one of my dies jumped here, but that's okay. So this is what happens with all those dies. They don't actually totally punch out the shapes. Ignore this one because it jumped there a little bit. So it kind of cut into that one. But that small one works the same as this large one. The flower little petals pop up, as do the leaves. Oh, there's another one that jumped a tiny bit. Guess I was rushing. And then on these larger areas, these also do the same. And you can pop up as much or as little as you want to on all of these. My preference when I use these dies is to punch up some of the elements. I haven't been popping up all of the elements, just some of them. And you can see the larger the element, or the larger the die, the more elements there are to pop up. Flowers, butterflies, the dragonfly, lots of leaves. But you can do as much or as little, okay? So that's just the essence of how the Pretty Pop-Ups dies work. And now we're actually going to put some of these to use making some cards. So let me set that aside. And before I go on, I'm going to put all of these on my magnetic sheet so I don't lose them. It's stressful when you lose your dies, isn't it? And I have been known to look through trash for a missing die or a missing stamp. So this is one way to help you get beyond that problem. Okay, lots of people on. Oh, hi, Leah. And Leah, thanks for the stars. That's so sweet. And people are still jumping on. This is wonderful. All right, so let me show you the first card, and then I'll show you how to make it. So here's the first card we're going to make. Isn't it pretty? And it really is easy adding the color to these dies. It looks like it could be very tedious and difficult because the images are so small and you think, oh, that's kind of hard to add that kind of color to. But it really is not, because I'm going to show you exactly how. So I'm starting with a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to lay this large circle die, pretty pop-ups die on top. I'm going to pay attention to my butterflies and dragonfly so that they're flying in the right direction. I'll show you what I did earlier. If I can find, oh, what did I do with it? Here it is. This was my first one I did, just playing with it. And when I die cut it, I realized, oh, I should have had it flipped the other way. But really, there's nothing wrong with me flipping it this way and putting my sentiment at the top. So that's just another option as well. Sometimes we make those mistakes and they become, what do we want to call them? Happy accidents. We learn something new by them or come up with a different idea or way to use them. I hope you all had a good weekend. My weekend was good. I had 3 girlfriends here for a craft weekend / girls weekend. A lot of fun, lots of laughing, lots of crafting going on. But they're all people I've met through my Stampin' Up! Journey. And it's just incredible to me to have these people in my life. And interesting how something simple as stamps, ink, and paper can bring us all together. All right, so I've got Stampin' blends here, and I'm using, and you can choose if you want to use the light and or dark or both shades of these Stampin' blends. Right now I'm using Soft Seafoam Light, and I'm just quickly coloring in the leaves. You can see some of them are so small, just takes a quick touch, and the others, just a couple of quick strokes. It can also look like a lot of coloring, but you'll see that the coloring here actually goes very, very quickly. And I'm using the larger paintbrush tip of my Stampin' blends. And I don't even press hard. I'm just dragging the tip along my cardstock. Just when I think I finished all the leaves, I see a couple more. All right, and next I'm going to color the dragonfly with Balmy Blue. I'm using Balmy Blue Dark just to put a few accents on the wings and to do the body of the dragonfly. And then I'm going to fill in with the light shade. So I started with dark and moved to the light. And then I'm going to, let me do it this way, use my So Saffron blends. I'm starting with the dark. There are some little indentations in these different shapes and images, so it's easy for me. That's really just where I'm putting the dark shade on my butterflies, just kind of following those little indentations. And you don't even have to color them perfectly. It just works out. And then again, filling in with the light shade. This set of dies is quite different than any we've had before, and I think that's what attracted me to it. And then I'm going to color the large flower petals with light petal pink. And of course you could, if you're, a bright, bold color person, certainly switch out for whatever colors make you happy or what are your preference. You could even color these by the season, really. Okay, so that's all my large flowers. And then I'm using small tip of my dark petal pink just to dot color on top of the indentations that make up the center of these large flowers. And I'm using my dark fresh freesia to dot the center of these tiny flowers. And then filling them in with the light shade of fresh freesia. Now, when you're coloring these flowers, you can decide if you want to extend from the die cut part right up to the center, or if you just want to color the petals like I did on the petal pink flowers and then dotted the center. See what I mean? Here I'm making it look like just one continuous piece, whereas here I left the color just on the petals and just on the center. Again, I'm using the large or paintbrush tip of my stamping blend. And it's just really easy to kind of dot and drag that tip. You don't have to press hard at all. Really, you shouldn't be. You're just touching the cardstock and dragging the brush a little bit. And that's it. That's the extent of my coloring. Now I do want to add a sentiment. And there are two ways I can do that. The first one, and I'm using, let's see, well, this is from the Go-To Greetings stamp set. One of my favorites. Yes, Kathy, Mondays are now at 4 p.m. each week. Thank you for asking. So there's my happy birthday. Now the other thing that I can do is stamp on a strip of cardstock like I did here. And finish off the ends. I might have to, I think I made this a little too long. So I might have to punch even a little bit more because I want it to fit the width of the card. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to, I wasn't thinking when I cut that strip. Because I don't want it to be wider than the width of the finished card. There. So either way is fun and easy, impactful. My sample card has the sentiment right on that piece of basic white, but this one I'm going to pop up. But before I do that, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add several dimensionals. Oops. I'm even going to put some of the mini dimensionals on the flat areas of the design where there's no pop-ups. But I just want to make sure we have that lift from the dimensionals all throughout. Let's see. But I don't want them sticking to any of the pop-up parts. Actually, that looks pretty good. And I already had this one off, so I'm going to stick it right here. And I can just taking off the backs of all of these. Found a new way to use my take your pick tool. To pick up and place the mini dimensionals, but then also to pick up those backings, and then I just put them all into the trash at once, and I'm not making a big mess. All right, so now this piece of white was cut 5 1/4 by 4 inches. This piece of balmy blue that I'm putting behind it measures 5 by 3 3/4 inches. Okay, 5 by 3 3/4 inches. And this is what I'm going to put on my basic white thick cardstock. Basic white thick cardstock for the card base, okay? And looks great just like that, right? But I'm going to add this banner just for, just to make it a little different than the sample. Ooh, I think I'm still a little bit wide. Come on, Mary. So let me go in again. I thought I had it just right that time. putting it in such a way that it doesn't get caught on the adhesive. That would not be good. Okay, and that will still fit nicely in my envelope. It's just a smidge beyond the width of the card, but we know that our envelope is a little bit larger than our card, so it will still fit nicely, okay? All right, so that's that. Now we could go another step with this and add a little bit of embellishment. And I have in mind exactly what I want to do. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. But we may use it if I don't see the other. I'm looking for my iridescent pearls. I just had them a second ago. Well, okay, we're using these. These are the regular pearls, not the iridescent pearls. I'm not sure where I laid them. But now I'll use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm just going to place some of these pearls around. And you're thinking I'm being random. I'm actually not. There are just some little, almost like flower-like indentations around the outside of the design, and some even in the center, within the center. And I'm just putting my little pearls on top of those. I'm using those as my guide, which makes life easy, right? If the guide is there, why not use it? Seems like a lot of pearls. I probably wouldn't do this if I needed to make 50 of these. But making one or a few of these cards makes me feel like somebody's getting something really special by adding these pearls. Not that it's not special without, but a little extra special with all the pearls. I have to hold it up and kind of look at it at different angles to see if I got them all, and it looks like I did. So there's my finished card. I think that's a beautiful happy birthday. Now, of course, when a card like this would go through the mail, all these pop-ups get kind of flattened out, but that's not a big deal. The people will see, even after it goes through the mail, that all these different images can be popped up. And they may choose that. And if they don't, that's okay too, because you still get all the dimension of it. All right. So there is one card that I'll be giving away today. Let's move on and do a second card. And this time, we're going to make a note card size card. And I'm switching out that large circle die for this smaller oval die. So we're using the smaller note card size. This is one of those often overlooked products you may have heard me talk about in the past. Leah, that's correct. There are no corresponding dies or stamps to go with that. So you can add any sentiments that you choose, but these dies can stand alone. It would make a pretty note card without even having the sentiment on, okay? All right, so the note cards, as I said, come in packages of 20. You get 20 pre-cut, pre-scored note cards. They're 3.5 by 5, finished size, and the envelopes to go with them. And I believe they're $6, so it's a really, really great value. And they are mailable. 3.5 by 5 inches is the smallest size card that you can mail, okay? So that's what we're working with. And then this measures 2.5 by 4 inches. Let me double check. Yes, 2.5 by 4 inches. And that large circle pretty pop-up die, you do need your large, regular, standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but all of the other dies in the collection will fit in your mini machine. So I'm just going to center this like that. Because there are so many cuts being made with these dies, I do like to roll it forward and back each time. And there you can see how the oval cuts out. Still has all the same pop-up shapes, the dragonfly, butterfly, flowers, leaves, and we'll add some color again. I'm just going to make it real easy and color all the images the same way I did on the other card. So I'm using So Saffron for the butterfly. Oops, I forgot about the antenna. Let me go back in there and do that. Okay, I'm going to use Balmy Blue for the dragonfly again. So saffron for the leaves. I think I'll just color them all with the soft seafoam. I think I said saffron. I meant soft seafoam green leaves. I'm using the dark shade of the soft seafoam Stampin' Blend. I'll color the large flowers with light petal pink. Oops, look what I did there. I colored those like leaves, and that should be a flower. I'm gonna go over that. So it'll be a different shade of flower for that one. I'll go over it with the dark petal pink. Just kind of dotting ink, blotting it for the center of those flowers. Well, a little bit different color there. Okay. And then finally, I will use Fresh Freesia for the tiny flowers. Starting the center with the dark shade and coloring the petals with the light shade. And you could certainly color these with Stampin' Write markers or the watercolor pencils, ink pads and blends, or blender pens, or the Stampin' Blend. So you still get a lot of choice for coloring. I'm just gonna pop some of these out. To me, I find the easiest way to do that is to just curve or bend the paper a little bit and then push the images up with your fingers, or push them back, or squeeze them if they're kind of symmetrical. Squeeze the pieces together. You could also use the piercing end of your take your pick tool and push them from the back side. For example, like this. Okay. Whatever works for you. Probably if you're want to do all of them, I would say the easiest way is going to be the piercing tool. If you're just going to do some of those large ones like the butterflies, you can probably just do it with your fingers. All right. And then I'm going to adhere it to a piece of balmy blue, and this measures 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. Again, I'm using my dimensionals because I think when you put the dimensionals behind the pretty pop-ups layer and then add to the next layer of cardstock, I think it just kind of enhances that pop-up feature a little bit more. I like some right around there, going all the way around, you know, just as close as I can to the pop-ups without touching the pop-ups. Whoops, wrong end. Put one right there in the center. This little dimensional wants to do its own thing. Okay, so I am using more dimensionals than I typically would use, but that's okay. I have a reason for doing that, right? Oops. Going to get my manicure tomorrow, and I'm so excited because this is so grown out, and yeah. So I'm gonna get them cut back way short, which is how I like them. But I was scheduling my manicure around going to New Orleans, and I leave on Wednesday morning with my upline. We're going to a Stampin' Up! Backstage event for leaders. So, and we leave very, very early Wednesday morning. So I was kind of planning my manicure before my trip. I'm sure lots of you do that as well, right? Okay, again, I'm stamping with a sentiment from the Go-To Greetings. This time I'm using that very small Just a Note. So you can see what I did. I have a 1/2-inch strip of balmy blue, and I cut one end of it and then stamped my sentiment, and then I'm just going to trim off the other end. And I do that because this piece of cardstock is way too small to use with my punch. See, it's not even all the way in. I would lose it, right? And have to hope that it punched correctly. So there's my tip. If you want to banner cut very small pieces, banner cut one end and then line up your sentiment according to that, and then just trim off the excess with your paper snips. And I'll just put this on my card front with a couple of, whoops, See, I have a hard time even working with these long nails. I hate it. So 10 a.m. tomorrow, you'll know what I'm doing. And I'm just going to put this right here on this corner. And then I'm ready to add this to my basic white note card. And I like how you can see on both of these cards, you can see the balmy blue color of the cardstock peeking through the pop-up areas. Okay. All right, so what do you think? Pretty fun, huh? I think so. Just a very different, oh, I know you're going to think, Mary didn't add any bling to that second card, right? Did anybody think that? So I'm doing it right now. Okay. Oh, I see lots of hearts. That tells me, and some thumbs up. That tells me you like what you see. You're liking these pretty pop-up cards. Again, I'm using just the little indentations that were made by the die to guide me in putting these tiny pearls onto my card front. I think that's it. Yes, that looks it. Which is kind of fun because I don't think I would have been putting the pearls in this kind of manner. You know, I feel like I need one right there though. There is not an indentation that I see, but I feel like it needs one right there. But fun, fun, fun. Marcia says she loves both cards. So pretty. Love them. Beautiful. Wonderful. Okay. Now, I have not prepped a third card, but if you'd like to stick around, I'm happy to make one with you. Anybody? Stella likes the pearls added. I think too that they just add another nice element. All right, so this is, again, I'm just going to bring this in so you can see all the different shapes of dies that we have here. So we use the oval and the circle, but what about this rectangle? Okay, here's my thought on the rectangle. And this is going to be a super easy card. So this measures, let's say, 1 1/4 inches by about 3 1/8. So I'm just going to cut some rectangles a little bit larger than that, or really about that size, I think. I'll cut them the same size. So I'm going to use Balmy Blue and So Saffron. I'm pulling scraps here. So Saffron and what other color? I want to pull 3 colors from here. Maybe the Fresh Freesia? What about those 3 colors? Okay, so each of these I want to cut the same size as my die. So that was, what did I say, 1 1/4 inch by 3 1/8 inch. 1 1/4 by 3 1/8. So there's 3 1/8 by 1 1/4. And then, and I could make these larger if I wanted to, but I think I just want them the same size for now. And we'll do a quick card. So 3 1/8 by 1 1/4. Okay, so before I do any die cutting with this rectangle frame, I want to consider which color I'm putting in the middle. So now I'm just going to play with these a little bit and see which color I want in the middle. I don't know. Do you guys have a preference? What do you think? Certain color in the middle? Okay, and I need my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I can't decide. I'm going to go with this, I think. Barbara, I'm glad you're sticking around for the third card. That makes me happy. And I'm lining up all four sides of this die with my cardstock. Now I could have cut that cardstock a little larger than the die and then centered it. I'm looking to see what people are saying about the center color. I see a couple blues. Okay, we'll go with blue. I'm going to have this So Saffron one at the top. The nice thing about this, it makes all these cuts, but you have no mess. You don't have all these little pieces of cardstock all over your desktop and floor. And remember too, when you have a die with all straight edges or one straight edge, you never want the straight edge going in exactly perpendicular, or not perpendicular. I can't come up with the right word. Anyways, you want to put your die in at an angle, parallel. Okay, you don't want this going in parallel to the rollers. You want to put those straight edges at an angle. And that makes it roll through much more easily, more smoothly. If you send this die with the straight edge through first, it will make it jump when it's rolling through, and you don't always get a really nice image. Kathy, I like that thinking. So saffron at the top for the sun, blue, balmy blue for the sky, and then the fresh freesia for maybe the flowers at the bottom. I like that thought. All right, now I am not going to do die cut this for the center with this same die. I'm going to do something a little bit different. The first thing I want to do is pull out my little message here. I think on this one, we may do a thank you. Oh my goodness, if I can get it out of the case. There we go. So I want to stamp on the blue. My friend was here, or one of my 3 friends that was here this weekend, loves to organize, and she gave me something to reorganize all of my clear blocks. I have lots and lots of them. For when I do events, things like that. But she has them arranged, and she moved them to the upper right part of my craft table instead of this shelf I have on the left. So if you see me reaching across, that's why. I think I want to turn to my left and grab them where they have been, and I'm still trying to remember to grab them from the right. So that may be happening. Okay, so I have all of these. What happened to my little, oh no, here he is. Lost my little dragonfly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, and it could be, you could choose the flower, butterfly, whatever you like. Oh, maybe I will choose the butterfly, I'm not sure. I kind of like the 3 dragonflies. Should we do another dragonfly in the center, or should we do the butterfly there? while you're deciding on that and letting me know your thoughts, I'm going to practice stamping my sentiment. Thank you. Just seeing if I stamp straight. Ooh, that's a little heavy on the ink, Mary. I always like to practice on a scrap of cardstock. There, that looks pretty good. Let's see. I think Doris was the first one this time, and she says go with the butterfly. All right, so I've got my thank you in there. I'm stamping balmy blue ink on balmy blue cardstock. And then I'm going to use one of these dies. I think I'll go with the butterfly this time. But again, you do what you want. And I'm just going to set this on here right there. Actually, my friend Joyce is really good at organizing. She's always up for giving you some tips. Okay. So I was going to do a regular sized card base. But I'm going to switch and pull out another note card size because I just think the size of these really lends itself to the size of the note cards. And these note cards do come in basic white, and I think we have them in very vanilla, and we just started carrying them in a craft color. The craft is a little bit more expensive because it has a gift box. You may have seen me advertise my Hello Harvest class to go a few weeks ago. It just went in the mail last week. But those craft note cards come with a nice gift box. But anyways, so white, vanilla, and craft colors. So now I'm just going to pop some of these up. Pop some of these pieces out. Add to the dimension of the card. You can do as many or as few as you want. Whoops, didn't mean to rip that. I kind of ripped that one. Okay, and I actually am going to use some mini glue dots. They're really, because I cut this the same size as the die, because I cut my cardstock strips the same size as the die, there really is not a lot of room to play with adhesive. So I would say you want to either use just a few mini dimensionals or some, where can I put this one? I'm going to kind of roll this one a little bit. Or the mini glue dots, okay? Just in a few strategic places, all right? Oops. I should do the middle one first. Now the middle one I will put on dimensionals. Oops, I'm gonna put a couple on, where's my minis? I didn't need that great big one there, did I? So I'm going to put this one in the center and then add the top and bottom strips. I think that looks pretty well centered. And I want just a small margin between the center one and the top and bottom ones. Actually, behind the center of the large flowers is a great place to put your either your mini glue dots or your mini dimensionals, whatever you're choosing to use for this card. Pop some of these out. So I gave you a couple different ways to pop out all these different shapes or images. You can either curve the paper and pull them up with your fingers or fingernail, or you can flip to the back side and push them through with your piercing tool. Easy peasy. And again, you don't need all of them popped up to get the effect. Trying to get this nice and straight. There's a super easy card. Oh, I'm sorry. Jody, I'm sorry. I was off the camera a little bit. Sorry about that. Was trying to get in close, but got a little too low. And then instead of doing pearls for some bling, I'm just going to use a wink of Stella to color my butterfly, my large butterfly. And I'm also going to color the wings of the dragonfly and the body of the dragonfly with my wink of Stella as well. Wink of Stella, they call it a clear wink of Stella glitter brush, but I think of glitter as being messy. So it really just adds some shimmer and shine, a little bit of glimmer. All right, so there you have it, some fun and cheerful, I'll say, cards made with the pretty pop-up dies. Okay, we made, where's my other little note card? Here it is, upside down. So we've made 3 cards in total. 2 of them were made with the note card and envelope set, and the other is our standard size. So I'm going to be giving away all 3 of these cards. So if you would like to receive one of these cards, or have your name put into the drawing to receive one of these cards, please in the comments now type pretty pop-ups dies, right? Can you see that pretty good? Without too much glare. Okay, pretty pop-ups dies. Trying to hold it so you can see the words without too much glare. Oh, love the color combination. Thank you, Gian. Soft and elegant, yes. But again, if you are somebody who likes brighter colors, go with the bright colors. Barbara says she can't decide which one she likes the best. She likes them all. Wonderful, and that's my goal, to make cards that you all enjoy and like, and hopefully will be inspired to make on your own. So again, that's the Pretty Pop-Ups dies. I can tell you right where it is in the annual catalog. It is on page 173 of the annual catalog. Okay, page 173 of the annual catalog. Pretty pop-ups. All right. And just a reminder that these dies are a standalone collection. They do not have a stamp set that coordinates with them. But you can certainly add your own sentiments from any of our sets, whatever you think. All right. So let me pull it in one more time just so you get another look. So, and they all do the same thing. Even these small dies are pop-ups, just like this butterfly. All right. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's or this afternoon's card making demonstration. Thank you for spending part of your Monday with me. I hope you have a great week. I do want to let you know that because I am going to the Stampin' Up! Backstage event for leaders, which is Thursday evening through Saturday evening, I am going to New Orleans. I'm leaving Wednesday morning. That is, let's see, the 24th. And I will be returning on Monday afternoon, the 29th. So I'm going to miss 3 Facebook Lives with you. I'll miss Wednesday and Friday of this week and the following Monday. I don't think I'll be back quite in time to get ready and have a Facebook Live at 4. I think our plane gets in about 1:30 or 2. So that's cutting it pretty close till I drive home and stuff. Okay, so until I see you then, happy stamping. Please know that while I am gone, I will have my computer with me. I will be checking emails and messages. So if you have a specific question, you need help with an order, anything like that, I may not be available immediately, but if you send me an email or shoot me a message, I will do my best to get back to you within 24 hours like I normally do, and take care of you as best I can from New Orleans. So I'm excited. I've never been to New Orleans. So Susie and I decided to add on a day before and after the event. Susie's my upline. We're going together. Decided to add on a day before and after the event so we could see some of the city and take in some of the food and culture and things like that. So we're both excited. She hasn't been there before either. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy stamping, and I will see you back here in just over a week. Bye-bye.